Action News exclusive today. A jury heard opening statements in a lawsuit against former Clayton County Sheriff Victor Hill. Channel 2 investigative reporter Mark Winne is live now in downtown Atlanta. So, Mark, this case involves allegations about a man strapped into that restraint chair when Hill was sheriff.
And George, justice can come in many forms, and former Sheriff Victor Hill faced one type, a criminal case a while back in federal court, but then there is the civil arena where lawsuits are brought, and we heard opening statements about one of those late this afternoon. We can't count how many times Victor Hill has been in a courtroom as a law enforcement officer who reached a pinnacle as Clayton County Sheriff, and now as a defendant in a federal lawsuit. A jury was seated this afternoon in the suit in which what happened to Glenn Howell when he was seated in a restraint chair and in the aftermath seemed to be key issues. We interviewed Howell in 2023. When you got out of that chair, how big were your hands?
Every size of softballs.
Howell said then Sheriff Hill interceded for one of Hill's deputies in a billing dispute over landscape work Howell had done for the deputy, resulting in phone calls and text messages between Hill and Howell and a misdemeanor harassing communications warrant against Howell. He says he was innocent, and ultimately, after surrendering at the jail, he was strapped in a restraint chair for about 6.5 hours, though he was compliant and never resisted. The suit says defendant's cruel and unusual conduct was carried out willfully, deliberately, sadistically, maliciously, and in conscious disregard for plaintiffs' federally protected rights under the 14th Amendment to the United States Constitution. Howell's attorney, Daryl Scott, used the word torture in his opening statement and the phrase vigilante sheriff.
It's a civil suit, so it's about money damages, and that's what Mr. Howell is seeking.
Hill's civil attorney, Michael Hoffer, says many of the facts in the lawsuit came up in the federal civil rights criminal case in which former Sheriff Hill was convicted and for which he's done his time.
You don't dispute that Glenn Howell's civil rights were violated in that restraint chair?
That's been established by the criminal conviction.
But what do you say?
What we say is that what Sheriff Hill didn't do is cause damages to Mr. Howell, which is Sheriff Hill did not put his hands on Mr. Howell. He didn't tell anyone to inflict pain on Mr. Howell, and that the deputy and that the nurse who checked his restraints in the restraint chair saw that they were properly applied, and also that Sheriff Hill is the first and only law enforcement official who has been arrested, tried, and convicted of a restraint chair, use of a restraint chair in the entire United States.
But that was affirmed by a federal appeals court.
That's correct.
Now, I got the impression from openings that there will be some other issues besides the restraint chair. Document says Hill's conviction, quote, arose from his punishment of Howell and 5 other compliant, non-resistant detainees by leaving them in a restraint chair for hours at a time. Reporting live in downtown Atlanta, Mark Winne, Channel 2 Action News.